The Council for Quality Growth is Metro Atlanta's leading advocate for responsible development. Our region will welcome nearly 3 million people over the next 3 decades. Only the Council will work on behalf of the development industry to collaborate with elected officials and government staff to ensure that Metro Atlanta thrives. The Council remains the only organization that works exclusively for the development industry, serving at the intersection of public policy and private investment. We invite you to become involved today.
Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Cherokee. Nice, dry, no snow, Cherokee County, Chairman, all for you. Thank you all for being here. I'm Michael Parris, President and CEO of the Council for Quality Growth, and welcome to the 2025 State of Cherokee Address. I want to thank Chairman Johnston for his continued commitment and support of the Council for Quality Growth hosting this State of the County Address again this year. And we also want to thank Cherokee School Superintendent Mary Elizabeth Davis. I'm going to say doctor one time this whole day. Dr. Davis, Mary Elizabeth Davis, for being here at her very first State of the County. Congratulations on a very successful, almost first year as superintendent, and we look forward to many, many more years working with you. So now I'd like to take a moment to express our deepest gratitude to this lady right here in blue, Misti Martin. Misti, thank you so much for your exceptional leadership and unwavering commitment to Cherokee County, but to your friendship to all of us and your support of the council and everything you have done for this community. Misti has been a part of the State of the County since the very first one. I think we called it an economic update at the very first time since 1919. It's not that, we're not that old. 1913. Just feeling achy today, sorry. And this marks her final economic update. I want to thank you for your over 2 decades of dedicated service here, your visionary guidance, and the incredible impact you've had on this county and this community. Everyone in this room is excited as you move on to your new role as Deputy Commissioner of Global Commerce for the Georgia Department of Economic Development. So congratulations to you, Misti. So, Mr. Chairman, next year we might have to carve out a State of Georgia piece up here, you know? You never know. So Cherokee is first, as always, in our 2025 State of the County series. And we value the opportunity to bring together the public sector with the business community this year for a total of 8 State of the Counties, 8 commission chairs across the metro region. The upcoming dates are on the screen, with the Fulton address next on February 18th and Gwinnett on March 6th. And then next week is a big week. On January 30th, we will host the State of MARTA, featuring the unveiling and the tour of MARTA's brand new train cars, followed by an address from Collie Greenwood, General Manager and CEO of MARTA. So as you can see, we have a very active schedule ahead of us. If this is your first time of coming to a council event or hearing about us, I encourage you to get involved and see our team for membership or more information on the council. So now to begin our program, please welcome Chaplain Tom Johnson of the Cherokee County Fire and Emergency Services to deliver the invocation and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's pray. Father, as we come before you this afternoon, we thank you for the opportunity of gathering here and celebrating the success over the last year of this great county as we look forward and already working towards this new year. Lord, pray that you will be with those who are the leadership part of this government, be with those businesses that help support our government and our great county. Lord, thank you for the food that was prepared for us. Lord, pray that you will bless that food to our bodies and our bodies to thy service. And Lord, help us as we, in just a moment, we recite the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag. Lord, help us to take a strong look at those words and understand they're not just words said to a flag, but May they be a part of the life that we serve this great nation with. And we thank you and we praise you for the health that you have given us. In Christ's name, amen. Shall we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Chaplain. So the council is, as you know, is a regional organization built on the strong relationships we've cultivated with our local policymakers across the metro area, of course, here, including all of those here in Cherokee County and our cities. And by working together, we ensure that every voice is heard and that Cherokee continues to grow and thrive. Our ability to serve our members at such a high level wouldn't be possible without the unwavering support of our incredible leaders like Chairman Johnston and others, and the many dedicated elected and appointed officials joining us here today. So first, I want to recognize the Cherokee County Board of Commissioners who worked tirelessly to make Cherokee such a great place. Representing District 1, Commissioner Steve West, District 2, Commissioner Richard Weatherby, District 3, Commissioner Benny Carter, District 4, Commissioner Corey Ragsdale, and of course, Chairman Johnston. So let's give them all a great round of applause. And I do know we have many other elected officials, appointed officials, and leaders from Cherokee and across the region here that play a vital role in how we grow and thrive. So let's give everyone, if you wouldn't mind standing, please give y'all a great round of applause. And especially, I want to recognize the backbone of Cherokee County, the amazing county staff and our public safety personnel. Your hard work and your commitment are noticed and appreciated every day. So let's have everybody who's a part of the county government, whatever you do, and our local governments, please stand so we can recognize what you do for this community. And that does include our great county manager, Jeff Morton, Erica Nelder, Holly Bartlett, Lori Keener, all those who worked inside the walls here to make today great. So y'all get an extra round of applause. How about that? So I want to take a minute to thank our great sponsors that make this event possible today. Our presenting sponsors are the LGE Community Credit Union, Northside Hospital Cherokee, and VHB. Our gold sponsors include Center Cut Catering, great job on the food, guys, Cherokee County Chamber of Commerce, the Cherokee County School District, the Cherokee Office of Economic Development, Lead Edge Design. You'll all have your annual gift of your airplanes at your table, so make sure you take those home, and Pond & Company. Our resource sponsor today is the Metropolitan North Georgia Water Planning District and the Atlanta Regional Commission. Our silver sponsors include Advanced Systems, the City of Woodstock, the Linwood Group, Turner, Townsend, and Hury, the Wellstar Health System, and the Winter Companies. Our bronze sponsors are Balfour Beatty, the Cherokee Association of Realtors, CPL Architecture, ECS Southeast, Gresham Smith, Heath and Lineback, HDR, Jericho Design, Lake Arrowhead, Kaiser Permanente, Keck and Wood, NPSG Built, Oasis Consulting Services, and SEI Engineering. I would also like to thank Pam Carnes, as always a great partner. Pam and the Cherokee Chamber are great marketing partners for this event. So let's give everybody a round of applause. Thank you. So now, please welcome, on behalf of our first presenting sponsor, Ashley Rowe, Business Development Officer for LGE Community Credit Union. Ashley?
Good afternoon. It is an honor to be here today representing LGE Community Credit Union as one of the presenting sponsors of the 2025 State of Cherokee County. There's a strong connection between healthy growth and the positive role that credit unions play in communities. Places like Cherokee County thrive when people have access to resources that help them grow and succeed. At LGE, our mission is simple: people helping people. We do this by supporting local organizations that are making a difference. Last year alone, we donated over $400,000 to local charities that help communities we serve. We believe in supporting local because when local businesses and organizations succeed, we all succeed. Another way we give back is through financial education, which is something I'm really passionate about. Helping people understand how to manage their money, save for the future, and make smart financial choices is one of the best ways we can empower individuals and families. Of course, none of this works without strong partnerships. By working together with local businesses, nonprofits, and leaders, we are creating an environment where everyone has a chance to thrive. That's what makes Cherokee County so special. It's a community where we genuinely care about one another. As we look to the future, LGE is excited to continue supporting the growth of this incredible county, and with the help and support, we can build a stronger, more prosperous community for everyone. So let's keep growing, supporting, and lifting each other up. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley. I appreciate it. Now, please welcome our next presenting sponsor, Catherine Pearson, Chief Operating Officer for Northside Hospital, Cherokee.
Good afternoon again. It's great to see everyone here, many of us returning for an update this year. Northside continues to recognize the importance of looking at and evaluating the successes and the accomplishments of our community as it forms a roadmap of what we can expect this coming year. At Northside Cherokee, when we look back, it wasn't that long ago that we opened the doors to our new campus, and we were averaging at about 100 baby deliveries a month. Now here we are now, just under 8 years later, and we're looking to exceed 350 births a month. So it just shows and reflects on the growth and the solid health of our community. As we look forward for this year, hopefully you guys have seen the cranes on the campus, they're back, and we look forward to having the next parking deck, the second parking deck, being completed by September of this year, which will bring us an additional 1,300 parking spaces. I don't think anyone in this room is happier than myself and Billy for that being finished. Yes. We are also continuing design on our third medical office building. This medical office building is projected to be finished by the end of 2027. With this third medical office building, it will have almost the same clinical practice space as the first two combined. So there's be a lot of opportunities to continue to serve our community. We're also working on our second tower, which we project opening up the end of 2027, the beginning of 2028. With the completion of that tower, we are very excited that we are going to be able to bring over 600 patient beds to support our community. Also with that, we're going to be looking to hire an additional 1,000 staff members, give or take. So you can imagine the interest we have on presentations like today. So as we come together, we look forward to hearing what our community leaders bring forth. We look forward to hearing our longstanding partner, Cherokee County School District, Dr. Davis, Mary Elizabeth speak, as well as Chairman Johnston, Misti, and Mr. Johnston. Hearing what they have today helps us understand where the county as a whole is going, because Northside is committed to meeting the needs of our community. With that, as we meet our needs, we'll provide whatever service is necessary and continue to show our dedication. We're very glad to see everyone here because it reflects your dedication and commitment to the success of our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. And now, our final presenting sponsor, Tommy Crochet, Transportation Services Lead at VHB. Tommy?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you to the council for the opportunity to be here today. And with all of y'all who are so excited about the opportunities for growth in Cherokee County. I'm Tommy Crochet. I'm the Southeast Region Transportation Lead for VHB and represent 2,000 professionals along the East Coast of the United States. with more than 120 here in North Georgia. Engineers, scientists, planners, designers, all making meaningful contributions to the communities that we serve. We are partner-focused, with our agencies and governments, local governments that we do work for, in trying to elevate the places that we live, work, and play. We have a long-standing partnership and privilege working with Cherokee County over the years. Transformative transportation projects that, help improve access to workforce development, connectivity, including the Bells Ferry road widening project, which GDOT received bids on last Friday, very good bids. Technology Ridge Parkway, and getting to work on the design on the Ball Ground truck bypass. We know these are exciting times for the counties who have leaders that thoroughly understand that transportation systems need to be proactive and anticipate future needs. With the efforts of many people working along in those lines who understand transportation's critical role in our future, they come together to elevate excellence and accomplish many great things, including, acquiring funding from the state and federal sources to, complete these initiatives. With that, thank you.
Thank you, Tommy, and thank you to VHB. So, now it is my great pleasure to introduce Mary Elizabeth Davis. Mary Elizabeth joined the Cherokee County School District as superintendent last March, right at her first year. Previously with 7 years as superintendent of Henry County Schools, and previous to that in leadership in the Cobb County School District. We're excited to have you here, to have you part of the infrastructure of this county, and great to hear what you have to say today. So thank you for being here, and please welcome Mary Elizabeth Davis.
Well, good afternoon, and thank you to the Council for Quality Growth. Thank you, Michael. It really is an honor to join you today. It's an honor to share the stage with Chairman Johnston and with Misti Martin. I really applaud the leadership that they provide to this community, but more importantly, the unity among agencies is something worth celebrating for this community, and the desire to serve together could not be better modeled by you both. I also want to say greetings to all of the elected officials that are in the room, as well as members of distinguished boards across our community, members of our public safety, and to our Cherokee County community. I have already heard it said several times that this is my first time standing here, so I'm so glad that that obvious statement was made. I realize as well that I see how it goes. The rookie has to go first, so thank you. Chairman, thank you, Misti. What they don't know is I plan to take all their time. We will make this all about schools, and I also thought it was just appropriate that if I don't stop talking, I don't have to, use this as a forum for feedback on whether or not we should have had school yesterday and today. All right, now that we got that obvious out of the way, I'm actually joined by 3 students today. I'm going to ask them to stand. Samantha is a senior at Etowah High School. She is also the student delegate to the school board. I also have here Maria, an 8th grader at Woodstock Middle School and a member of the superintendent's advisory, and Charlotte, a 5th grader at Little River Elementary, also a member of the superintendent's advisory. Can you celebrate them today? This is why we do what we get to do. Okay, now do you want the real scoop of the state of the school district? You're really going to have to seek them out after our time together today and get their perspective. Now, I'm also excited to be here with students because at the core of what we get to do is students and their learning. But I'm also pleased to be joined by members of the Board of Education for Cherokee County, and I want to recognize Ms. Kelly Poole, board member from District 1, who is able to be here today. And if you could stand so we can recognize you. Also serving is our newly sworn in and second time serving chair, Janet Reed Welch. We have Vice Chair Patsy Jordan from District 2, District 4 Board Member Rick Steiner, District 5 Aaron Ragsdale, and District 6 Dr. Susan Paget Harrison. And I also have team members here today, Mike McGowan, Cheryl Puccio, and Barbara Jacoby, who really are the backbone of the organization. So as we get started today, it's really amazing that a school district governed by a Board of Education must start in the boardroom, because a high-performing school district starts with a high-performing Board of Education. It's individuals who seek an elected office, but then come together and serve as a team on behalf of all students throughout an entire community. Now, our school board provides this excellence in education for nearly 42,000 students, making Cherokee the 9th largest district in the state of Georgia and the 131st largest district in the entire country of 15,000 districts. As the largest employer in the county, we employ nearly 6,000 people, 3,000 of them serving as classroom teachers, and we serve our students with nearly 100 counselors, 32 school psychologists, along with occupational therapists, physical therapists, speech and language pathologists, deaf and hard of hearing professionals, and we have a team of 382 bus drivers who got up before that sun rose this morning to get those buses cranked. They drive a total of 26,000 miles every day. That is actually enough to get us around the earth. Now, our bus drivers are starting their day before dawn, and while they're driving, we have an entire community of custodians, 244, who get those doors unlocked. And this important job family has just been restored to an internal CCSD job family after 11 years of being an outsourced service. I cannot tell you the joy they have returned to our schools. They have been amazing. They're responsible for 6.2 million square feet of school campus space, and 41 facility and maintenance technicians support them to keep our buildings in working order. Now, as we look ahead into this coming school year, 88% of our current budget of $585 million is directed toward the compensation of our employees. Each one of those employees providing an essential service for kids to have a quality education. And let me just mention, as someone new to this community and new to the school district, and as you heard time and time again, my first time here today, I can tell you that the best professionals serving in public education today are in Cherokee County. I have seen a professional skill that is unparalleled in public education, and I have seen a dedication to go the extra mile that is simply spotlighted right here at home. And in order to retain these most effective staff members so that our students have the best of the best, we're building our upcoming year's budget with 3 primary focal points. First, we are focused on realigning expenditures out of our general fund into other eligible funding sources so that we can make up the difference and close the teacher salary gap between Cobb, Fulton, Bartow, and Forsyth. 88% of our budget is directed to the people who make this district so good, but we are trailing in compensation in the region. It would actually take $31 million new dollars to close the gap with Cobb, which is out of reach at this time for us, but $12 million and $8 million to close the gap between Fulton and Bartow, respectively. Our students deserve the highest caliber professionals, and our community is counting on this quality in order to sustain the excellence in our schools. So that will be an area of focus as we head into our next fiscal year. Our second area of focus is to ensure employment stability across all job families. This includes our school nurses, our school police, and our custodians, all of which are nearly 100% funded by the revenue collected through local tax dollars. With the expansion of the senior tax exemption to go into effect this coming year, CCSD is actually very prepared and equipped to mitigate the $14 million revenue difference that we will see. However, we would have to prepare for another $50 million of revenue shortfall over the next 3 years if the school board does not proceed to opt out of applying the floating homestead exemption authorized by the constitutional amendment on the ballot this November. And while this measure did pass with quite a bit of support, what was once known as HB 581 does have an opt-out provision for school districts and other local entities to consider whether their operations can be sustained with the application of the exemption. So as we evaluate whether this impact can be sustained over time, our board will have that as center focus to ensure employment stability across all job families, even those locally funded. And finally, our third focal point is directing resources as close to the classroom as possible. Now, Cherokee County currently ranks in the lowest 7%, that's 13th of 180 districts in Georgia, in central office spending. Now, central office spending and centralized services can be important in large districts because they improve efficiencies and they reduce regulatory tasks from local schools, principals, and teachers. But this coming year, we have already made a 3% cut to all of the central office district divisions, and on top of that, we are redirecting additional academic dollars from the district office into our schools to support student programs such as fine arts and STEM. And with next year's budget in mind, the Cherokee County School District continues to land in a very rare category with a AA1 rating by Moody's. Now, this rating is only achieved by 3% of districts nationwide. So our school board has been able to do this while maintaining one of the lowest millage rates in the region at 16.45, which was actually dropped 1.5 mills just 2 years ago. A full senior tax exemptions for residents 62 and older who have also been owning their home for more than 5 years, and paying off debt, long-term debt, early, 3 times over the past 3 years, saving taxpayers a total of $16.8 million over the life of bonds. Now, the per-student investment in Cherokee County is just around $11,000 a year, and that per-student investment actually trails Cobb, Fulton, and Gwinnett. Yet, our students continue to outperform and show some of the highest scores on SAT. We mark the highest graduation rate, and our college acceptance rate among our graduates absolutely leads the state. My point is that the financial stewardship of this school board is unmatched, yet the quality of the education students receive is uncompromised. It truly is a testament to incredible board governance. Now, this excellence is not by accident. So let me briefly mention our current focus through CCSD. It's really been through hundreds of conversations and focus groups with many of you actually right here in this room, where I learned from teachers, from students, from parents, that there is such pride and confidence in our schools, but there's also a craving to keep getting better. The insights and perspectives that I was able to garner in my earliest days in this role have led us to launch a mission to elevate the excellence and to really evaluate what do we do so well, but where is it that we need to get better. It's led to 4 key priorities that you see on the screen, but in summary, we are striving to be the highest performing district in the state of Georgia, where children are learning more, growing more, and achieving more in a CCSD classroom than they could anywhere else. Key priority number 1, it's really focused on the learning. It's excellence in academics and achievement. And there are exceptional teachers, but our infrastructure for teaching and learning has grown fragmented over recent years. As a result, our teachers spend way too much time pulling from lots of varied sources in order to build comprehensive lessons. We're going to fix that. We are going to pursue a comprehensive instructional toolkit for our teachers, starting in ELA, moving quickly to math, and making sure our students and families have in their hands what they need to continue the learning at home. And although improvements can be made in our toolkit for teachers and what's in our hands for students, our student performance is a reflection of the excellence from which we are building. An all-time high graduation rate of 93.5%. And students in Cherokee outperform on SAT and ACT. 82% of the students who take an advanced placement course in high school are scoring a 3 or higher. Do you know that that translates into approximately $6.1 million of in-state tuition saved by our families? What is even more impressive is the growth in the number of students who are choosing to take an advanced placement course. There was a 14% or 850 more students who took this college-level class in high school between 23 and 24. CCSD continues to offer 44 career pathways, 19 of which lead to nationally recognized industry certification. We plan on filling those 1,000 jobs that you have just advertised this afternoon. And with the partnership with the Economic Development Authority's Be Pro, Be Proud effort, CCSD is taking on the challenge to meet the future workforce demands in technical skill. What we do have some work to do is in reading proficiency and math proficiency according to state metrics. Currently, 70% of our students in third grade show that they're reading on grade level, a very significant indicator for post-graduation success. Research actually indicates that 95% of kids are cognitively capable of reading on grade level, and you can see we've got work to do in order to take on that challenge. The same is true in math. While we outperform the state of Georgia in nearly every metric, we are actually trailing the performance of Cobb, Fulton, and Forsyth, and we plan to make major strides in the coming years in order to close that gap and be known as the top performers. Key priority number 2 is all about elevating the excellence in board governance. This board does have a long-standing reputation across the state of Georgia for their excellence, but in the spirit of elevating the excellence, it's got to start in the boardroom. And this board has put in tremendous time to study and to discuss what are the conditions they expect for every teacher and every student in every corner of the community. They have established core beliefs that create the type of clarity you need when you have 40 schools and even more district sites. And it's paved the way for their first ever collection of student achievement goals in ELA reading, and math is coming soon. This formed the basis for a new superintendent evaluation instrument, which is now publicly available on the district website. Our board is serious about getting better and students achieving. So the board has a set of goals in the boardroom, a set of goals on the superintendent's evaluation instrument, and now every school has aligned goals on their school improvement plan. Now that's a laser focus on student learning. The board also wanted to improve the transparency of their work and have added a monthly work session to their regularly scheduled meetings that now includes superintendent reports reflective of their direction and their expectations. The work session's now starting at 5:15 and followed by a business meeting at 7 p.m. once a month, both now live streamed and archived on a new layout on the district website so that it's very accessible. All right, let me get to key priority number 3, and this is about elevating the excellence in our district's coordination and alignment. We're a big, complex organization, and in addition to being held accountable to student learning, we're also accountable to 1,780 acres of school campuses. We're responsible for the preparation of our student growth, the management of the age and condition of our assets, a full fleet of buses, and daily operations that include running the largest restaurant in the county. We served 9,000 breakfasts this morning, and we're serving 21,000 lunches right now. And they are all delicious, I might add. Now, our current construction projects are on the screen for you, but I know you're monitoring it along with me, the Cherokee High School Replacement School, and it's currently ahead of schedule and within budget, but we aren't going to open that until August of 2026. I know you're enjoying watching every detail grow, and we'll have lots of celebratory events so that everyone gets a sneak peek. But our Freehome Elementary School Replacement School is going to be ready for this opening day in August. The school, funded entirely by the general fund, so there were no bonds or debt accrued in order to build that replacement school, has been issued its certificate of occupancy, and we're now furnishing it, putting fixtures in, and installing the technical infrastructure. We're looking forward to a future ribbon cutting later this spring. We also have some key additions that will relieve the use of mobile units at Creekview High School and Creekland Middle School. That will be ready in time for the start of this coming school year. And the next year, 2026, Woodstock High School addition will be ready for its addition to be occupied by students for 2026. We are currently conducting a comprehensive classroom utilization study that will assess our available classroom space as compared to the 10-year projected residential development for our community. We will couple that with a complete study of facility age, facility condition, in order to inform our future planning steps and determine the options for the current Cherokee High School, the current Cherokee High School North, current Freehome facility, and future renovation, improvement, and growth needs. This will pave the way for our next EdSPLOS referendum, which will be scheduled for March of next year. Here's a quick image of Freehome Elementary School. As you can see, it looks like you'd be ready to pull some buses right up there. And here's an image of Cherokee High School. Since I figured you could see it from the road, every road, I would give you the view from the sky. So excellence in academics, excellence in facilities requires excellent attention to safety and security. And I know there's nothing more pertinent to your perspective on schools today than keeping kids safe to, from, and while at school. We have so much to be proud of in the Cherokee County School District. It actually starts first and foremost with the school board in Cherokee County having the vision to ensure we had our own certified law enforcement agency, whose #1 job is the safety and security of students, staff, and schools every day around the clock. We have 35 officers, with every high school and middle school having at least one officer. Our large high schools have 2, and our elementary schools are sharing an officer. Our officers provide comprehensive safety and security presence for all of our athletic events, as well as large on-campus activities. Let me be clear, our school police officers are instrumental in our safety and security plan. They are the key to our safety and security posture. But there have been investments made across time to our campuses, including a single point of entry for many of our schools. And if you haven't been to a school lately, you now have to buzz into a school and show your ID. There's a connected video camera. We have shatterproof security film on identified window panes and video cameras throughout. As a matter of fact, we're in the process of integrating our video cameras with the sheriff's initiative to have a real-time crime center so that in the event of an emergency, our emergency operations center has direct camera access into a school facility. Each of our employees wears a badge that, when activated, can activate assistance. It might be medical assistant, or it may be more comprehensive law enforcement assistance. And while we do have routine drills with our students, what I really want you to be proud of is that we have large, multi-agency drills that represent all agencies in the county over the summer. The coordination of agencies in this county is unbelievable, and it is rare. It's a testament to Sheriff Reynolds. It's a testament to each of our chiefs of police, a testament to Chief Eddie Robinson of Cherokee Fire and Emergency, and to Director Daniel Westbrook of the EOC. Without their leadership commitment to doing this together, we might feel alone. But there isn't a day that I feel alone in school safety. Knowing that Chief Buster Cushing is at the helm of the CCSD police and the interagency coordination that I can count on in the background, it gives me tremendous confidence as a mom of 2 CCSD students and the superintendent of 42,000. I lay my head down every single night thinking about the safety of our youth. I wake up every morning questioning, have we done absolutely everything we can to ensure that there's a safe day ahead of us? And I can tell you, in Cherokee County, I continue to be proud. Finally, key priority number 4. It's about elevating the excellence and embracing a high-quality school environment with high standards. You know, families repeatedly tell me that they choose Cherokee to raise their family because of the quality of schools. And in order to honor the expectations of families and support professionals in the craft of teaching and learning, we need to elevate the ownership in personal academic responsibility among students. We started this school year with 3 clear efforts to achieve this. First, we defined the appropriate role a cell phone would play in the student's academic day. Didn't win a lot of student fans that day, but overall it has been extraordinary to see improved interaction among young people. The second effort was clarity around appropriate attire for school and a better connection between school expectations and the workplace expectations. And the third was clarity around timely submission of student work. No longer can you receive an assignment in August and successfully turn it in May. This was also championed by our workforce development partners. Now, as I wrap up today, what I know is that every single family in America is counting on their public education to get it right for their child, for their family, for their family's future. What I know is that there are exceptional people who wake up every single day and enter the halls of schools across this country wanting to nurture and invest in the next generation of young people. But what I also know is there is no one doing it better than the teachers, leaders, and staff in Cherokee County. Whether your role is to crank the bus at 5 a.m., shine the floors over the weekend, repair the HVAC, or in this case, heating system these days, in the middle of the night, or whether your role includes being a shoulder to cry on, a hand to high five, or a hug to embrace, or if you spend your weekend grading papers or your evenings at the grocery store to pull together the supplies for the perfect activity, there is no one better filling the halls and investing in young people than the teachers and staff in Cherokee County schools. Couple that with the most amazing young people who are ambitious, dedicated, super involved, and still incredibly proud of their school community, we have the recipe for excellence in every classroom, in every school, in every corner of our community every day. And we get to serve students, and we get to educate the future in the context of a community who cares about its schools and teachers more than any community in America. Thank you for that. Thank you for serving as the inspiration, the source, and the strength as we seek to elevate the excellence together, where really kids are learning more, growing more, and achieving more on our watch than they could anywhere else. It's at this time I get to turn the microphone over to my friend and the person I plan on changing the world together with, Misti Martin, current president of the Cherokee Office of Economic Development.
Thank you, Mary Elizabeth. That excites me, and I can attest to the school lunches because my 15-year-old told me this weekend that he was going to ask his favorite lunchroom lady how to make that chicken bowl because obviously I can't do it right. So they really are the best lunches. I want to start by thanking Chairman Johnston and the Commission for allowing us to be part of the program today. Michael, Paris, to you and the team at the Council for Quality Growth. Thank you for partnering with us for this event and for doing these State of the Counties around the region. And thanks for your I can't find Michael. Where it's, oh, you were too close. I need my readers. Thank you for your kind words earlier, too. I appreciate that. I wanted to also recognize the leaders of our 3 economic development boards. Marshall Day, who's not with us today. Mark Goddard, would you please stand? And oh, please stand and let everybody look at you. And keep standing. I don't think Jeff Butterworth is with us today, but we may have 3 boards, but we have one vision for economic development here. I also wanted to recognize our board members that are here, and y'all can yell at me if I miss somebody. Steve Holcomb, I know I saw him earlier. Ashley Holcomb, I don't think Billy Hayes is here. Hill Cochran, Mayor Rick Roberts. Y'all are not standing. Mary Elizabeth, they are not following directions. Billy Peppers, Nacy O'Denny, Jeff Moon, Phil Eberly, John Marenko. All of y'all, you rebels, nobody's doing. Thank you. Please join me in giving them a round of applause for putting up with me. And if I missed somebody, would you be willing to stand up? No. I also wanted to recognize the co-ed team, and if y'all will please stand. Heath Tippins, Justina, Christine, Molly, Jonathan, Hannah, Elise, Lee, Laura, and Katie. Thank you so much for what you do and for an amazing 2024. We're looking forward to great things in 2025. Thank you. You'll find at your tables, along with some other cool stuff, the 2024 year in review, and thanks to Grant Design Collaborative for partnering with us again this year on that. It was a busy year and probably the most challenging to date for our team. And as the coaches say, our team showed up and showed out, delivering a record number of quality programs and services that our businesses and residents will build on for years to come. So I'm so proud of each of you. Thank you for all the hard work that you put in this year. And when we think about the challenges of 2024, we can't help but think about our sister communities in Valdosta and Augusta and the regions of North Carolina and East Tennessee that were hit so hard by Hurricane Helene. And I was watching the news a month or so ago, and they were interviewing a pilot who had been flying to deliver supplies to the areas hit by the hurricane. And he was actually a financial planner, but had gotten his pilot's license and was using it to help people. He said the best investment you can make is in people. So think about that for a minute. I mean, I think we've heard that from Mary Elizabeth. The best investment you can make is in people. So we stepped up our Fresh Start Cherokee programming to support entrepreneurship because it empowers individuals, it creates jobs, wealth, and innovation in the economy. In fact, most of the net new jobs in the U.S. are created by new and young companies. We partnered with KSU's Hatchbridge Incubator to bring Launchpad Bootcamp series to Cherokee County. Entrepreneurs and 44 startups received business plan assistance, and over $200,000 in grants were awarded to help grow these businesses. And the way we were able to do that is because of support from our commissioners with American Rescue Plan Act funding. We also worked with Black Airplane, I know I saw Michael here, and David Leggett to develop the Cherokee Entrepreneurship Guide. And that's a digital guide using GIS and AI to deliver customized content for anyone starting a business in the community. Our team-based mentorship program, the North Atlanta Venture Mentoring Service, or as we call it NAV, because that's too much of a mouthful, that's in partnership with MIT's Venture Mentoring Service, celebrated 5 years. And we have served 32 ventures and currently have 31 active mentors that are helping grow these businesses right here at home. And if you'll see in the year in review, over 700 hours were given by these mentors to help these business owners grow. And not just grow their business, but grow the person individually. Once again, making an investment, the best investment you can make is in people. We continued investing in our community and our minority business owners with our Latino Business Roundtable and our Black Business Roundtable. We also invested in our international businesses through the International Business Council, making it easier for them to understand doing business here, everything from local permitting to geopolitics, and don't you know we had a lot of questions there. We celebrated 10 new and expanding businesses and over $50 million in new investment. And we can't talk about investing in industry without talking about the need for educated and talented workers. We know that our companies need talent today, and we know that they'll need talent tomorrow. So we are addressing the immediate needs and developing our pipeline for our talent tomorrow. And thanks to, again, for our partnerships with the school district. Our Cherokee Workforce Collaborative continues to thrive, providing connections between education, industry, and support services. Our high school internship program, that's also in partnership with CCSD, celebrated 7 years of giving students real-world experience and a chance for future employment. We have a new partnership we're working on called Georgia Flex, and that stands for Foundational Leadership and Entrepreneurship Experience. And this is an entrepreneurship program for high school students that engages them in the business world through experiences and mentorships. And it's just another way of encouraging talent development and entrepreneurship in our community. Mary Elizabeth mentioned Be Pro, Be Proud. It continues to shine a positive light on the skilled trade professions, visiting all of our local middle and high schools and numerous other locations around the state with our new mobile workshop. Once again, that was possible through this ARPA funding because of our commissioners. We now have 1,000 square feet of air-conditioned and heated space designed to inspire students to consider one of these 20-plus high-demand careers. The top career interests from our students are healthcare, construction, welding, computer programming, and automation and robotics. And I'm guessing that our healthcare friends in the room with Northside and Wellstar are pretty excited to see healthcare at the top of that list. And to address immediate needs of business, we created the Work in Cherokee campaign this year. 128 new employees received a hiring bonus after 90 days of employment with one of our companies for being new to work in Cherokee. So these are people that were either commuting or new to the workforce, recent graduates, and most of which that we interviewed were commuters that wanted to work close to home. In October, we unveiled our new workforce development strategy to guide our efforts for the next 5 years, and we're looking forward to starting that implementation in 2025. And I know everybody likes to hear about what's going on in film. And even though the film industry has not completely bounced back from the strikes, we still had 32 projects filmed here. We hosted another successful film summit for both students and professionals, and the Filmmakers Meetup is going strong. Once again, working with Black Airplane, we launched the 2.0 version of the Filmed in Cherokee app, so if you haven't downloaded that, you need to do so. We enjoyed celebrating 50 years of the Georgia Film Office, an office created by then Governor Jimmy Carter. And you see in this picture, those are the top picture is the three former heads of current and former heads of the Georgia Film Office with Jimmy Carter there. And Molly and I were able to go down to the Fox to the celebration of the 50 years, and it was a really special moment. But what an impact that office has had on our community and the state. We've enjoyed being Cherokee County's official liaison with the Georgia Film Office since 2011, and having the Queen of Film, Molly Mercer, lead those efforts has catapulted us to a whole new level. And this year, we will expand our Film Summit to the region. It'll be the Metro Atlanta Film Summit, and we know this will be a great success and an even better way for those in the film industry to learn and connect with peers. And speaking of peers, Cherokee County conducted its first peer community visit to the Nashville region last fall, the LEAP trip, Lead, Engage, Aspire, and Prosper. It was a great opportunity for almost 30 business and community leaders to learn best practices from areas with similar growth patterns. Franklin, Tennessee, Williamson County, a suburb of Nashville, was especially interesting. And they are one of the most affluent and educated areas in the country, and we're unapologetic about who they are. And just a little side note for how great our schools are here in Cherokee County, their school superintendent was an Etowah High School graduate. So we got to hear from him when we were there, and it was really, really cool. There were so many Cherokee County connections on that trip, but they boast their number one asset in their community is education. It didn't matter who we talked to, they said education was their number one priority. It was their number one with recruitment of new companies, and there are more headquarters in the Nashville region in Williamson County than Nashville proper. They also were unapologetic about wanting their county to be rural. It's an agricultural community. It's horse country for those of you that have been out there. And they really are working with their cities to push density to their cities. And everyone we talked to had consistent messaging about where they were going as a community. And I think they're a great example of a vibrant, attractive, and inviting image, which is also something in which we strive in Cherokee. So we're trying to figure out where the next LEAP trip is going to be. I think we've got it narrowed down to 3, but if it's something that you can afford in your budget, you should definitely go. Cherokee has dedicated a lot of time into attractive and connected places. Our cities have made great strides with trails and downtown redevelopment, and we partnered with Cherokee Recreation and Parks for the countywide Trails Master Plan this year that will be a great roadmap for the future. And our office, with support from the commissioners, has made great progress with sites and buildings for future business. And I think we probably talked about some of these last year, but Canton Corporate Park, which is on Knoxbridge Highway, that should start construction this year. We have 86 acres next to the airport that the sewer infrastructure is being completed right now. And then the remaining property in the Bluffs, including one completed spec building and another one on the way, and then several build-to-suit sites. And then we've also are about to have sewer extended to some properties at Cherokee 75. And I think when the state of the county rolls around next year, there will be some great announcements in these areas. And you've heard me say this before, projects like this take years of planning and dedication and hard work, and it takes leadership and cooperation, our cities and counties working together, water and sewer, infrastructure, public safety, etc. And we have the right people in Cherokee County to make this happen. In economic development, we are investing in people. We're investing in economic mobility and economic prosperity. And if you want to hear more about people being able to afford living in our great county and their kids attending our top-ranked schools, make sure we have high-paying jobs. How do we do that? We must preserve land for business. We are such a high-growth community, but if we don't plan to have land for business, we'll be out of business. Our residents, current and future, deserve the opportunity to work where they live. Now, you all know that I'm a Cherokee County girl through and through. I was even born here. And while I am very sad to leave my role at co-ed, I'm happy to support Cherokee County and the other 158 counties in a new way. And home is where the heart is, and my heart will always be in Cherokee County. It has been my honor to serve you. I said I wasn't going to do it. Seriously, thank you all very much. It has been my honor. I appreciate every one of you, and I look forward to working with you in this new capacity. And now I would like to turn it over to Cherokee's chief official and someone who puts his heart and soul into our community, Commission Chairman Harry Johnston.
Cherokee County is one of Georgia's most desirable places to live, and it's easy to see why. We're built on fantastic geography and a rich history. We've got thriving, yet safe and comfortable small cities surrounded by beautiful suburbs, and even a rural quality of life, all within easy reach of the economic opportunities of Atlanta. Our taxes are among the lowest in Georgia, yet our public safety, schools, and other services are among the very best. It's an exceptional value and a truly special place to live, work, and play. We recognize the greatness we have here. We understand that we're poised for unparalleled success. We know it will take continued vigilance, and we are united in our commitment to care for and nurture this county like the precious jewel that it is, and to take it into an increasingly rare and magnificent future. We appreciate you being here today. Welcome to the 2025 State of Cherokee County.
Cherokee County is thriving. We have almost everything going for us in Cherokee County. Just to name a few, we've got a fabulous location right here, literally where Metro meets the mountains. We have a great climate, 4 beautiful seasons. Yes, winter is one of those, and it's beautiful in its own way. We have a great quality of life, as close as we are to the economic opportunity of Atlanta, close enough to reach out and touch it when we want to. We're far enough that we can enjoy a safe and comfortable small town and even rural quality of life here. We have excellent, exceptional schools, public safety, and other local services. And we have low taxes. I'll talk about and brag about all those things in a minute, but I also want to talk about some of the challenges that I see facing us and threatening that thriving that we have going for us. One of them is to manage our growth. One is to manage our road infrastructure. And finally, housing. Michael already introduced the rest of the Board of Commissioners. I won't do that again necessarily, but I want to thank them for the great relationship that we have and our willingness to work together. I go back to the days when that wasn't always the case. I give credit to my predecessor, Buzz Ahrens, when he took office 17, maybe 18 years ago now. For changing that and bringing a cooperative atmosphere to that board. And we've tried to sustain that. I hope we can always sustain that, but thank you for building that, Buzz. And we're honored to have a great relationship with our thriving cities. You know, there was a time when that relationship was not as good as it is today. We have tremendous cities. Canton, Woodstock. Woodstock's just booming. Canton, fantastic, beautiful city. Holly Springs, building itself from inside out. Ball Ground, small and mighty, I like to say. What a powerful city it is. And the gorgeous crossroads town of Waleska, home of the great Reinhardt University. And the relationship that we have with them now is strengthened by the growth boundary agreement that we have that really has put to bed the quarreling over outward annexation and growth. In fact, as we've studied across Georgia, we believe this is a unique arrangement, that no other county in Georgia has this relationship with its cities. And it's moved us past and into a new era of growth and cooperation. I talked about exceptional public safety services, and we have them here. We have them. Our sheriff's office has a long history of excellence. Thanks, Sheriff Reynolds, for continuing that and taking it to the next level. Their accreditation level is such that it puts them literally in the top 0.1% of all law enforcement agencies in this country. Top 0.1% right here in Cherokee County. Thank you, Sheriff Reynolds, for that. Our Fire and Emergency Services has just finished a 25-year build-out from almost all volunteer to one of the finest departments in the world. They are one of just 8 internationally accredited agencies, city and county internationally accredited agencies in Georgia, one of just 300 or so in the nation. Our ambulance service is consistently ranked, frequently ranked best in the region, and is probably the best in the state. Thank you, Chief Robinson, for keeping us safe and for building such an excellent fire and emergency services. Our emergency management operation has a long history, mostly involving the name Westbrook. Robbie Westbrook and now his son Daniel Westbrook run that operation, and they're the nerve center when we have an emergency, and they've got a plan for everything, and it shows. Our 911 center was once, they've always functioned adequately, acceptably, but there was a time when they were plagued with employee morale and high turnover and stress. It's a very hard job. And then Chief Marshal, Dana Martin brought in Shane Bonebrake, who created a whole new environment in that operation, made it the best in the state, and in fact, they were just recognized as the #1 call center in the state of Georgia. Even our Marshal's office is accredited. You know, Marshal's offices are common across counties in Georgia, and they mostly do code enforcement work, and that's mainly what ours do. But ours is also CALEA, that's the Law Enforcement Accrediting Agency, accredited. So they are, in fact, an accredited law enforcement agency and can be a force multiplier when needed, as it sometimes is in emergency situations. Our community services are great. There's a picture here of a park under construction. This is Long Swamp Creek Park up near Ball Ground. It's one of 3 new parks being built in the Northeast Cherokee area over the next 3 years. The top picture there is our recycling center. It's just been through a much-needed capacity expansion. Community Services Agency Director Reynolds has great plans for that center. All it needs is money, right, Brian? We just need more money to expand it. But that's a great operation, and it's much needed. Our Parks and Rec team has been recognized as the best in the state, believe it or not, the best large county parks program in the state of Georgia just a couple of years ago, and our Parks Director is the reigning Park Professional of the Year for the region. So we've got fantastic parks and recreation and senior services serving a huge number of people who have distinct needs for health and life, as well as people who just want to reach out and have contact with other seniors. We have great services, and we're blessed to have them that we, the Board of Commissioners, don't control. Our public schools are always in the top 10 under almost every key measure. We are proud to have them. I like to say our public school system is probably Cherokee County's greatest man-made asset. I know you share with me the excitement for the new chapter that we're now in with Mayor Elizabeth Davis taking us forward in that education field. Our post-secondary education, we're so blessed to have the powerful and growing Reinhardt University here with the Waleska campus as well as other campuses, and 2 campuses of Chattahoochee Tech preparing people for high-paid technical careers. Our economic development team has been widely recognized as one of the best in the state, and how did we not see this coming? That Misti was not going to be with us forever. You know, I've been sitting back fat, dumb, and happy thinking, oh, Misti, you know, she's of course going to be. Of course, in hindsight, somebody was going to poach her away, obviously. And we should have realized that. But it's a great opportunity for her, we understand. And it's actually maybe a great opportunity for Cherokee County. You know, she will be the person in charge of, responsible for, bringing international business to Georgia. The person. Think about that. That is a very good person to know, and I'm glad we know her. So congratulations, Misti. Our water management and sewer management is not under the control of the Board of Commissioners. That's an independent authority, the Cherokee Water and Sewer Authority. They're an excellent, well-staffed, quality department who has done a wonderful job of harnessing the environmental resource of the Etowah River and provided an abundant supply of fresh water and sewer services. I've been able to say for years that they have capacity already built on the ground in place to serve us for the foreseeable planning future. We've now seen that planning future, starting in about 10 years, is probably going to have to be expanded. So that group has started the process of identifying property, getting it permitted, and eventually building facilities to provide additional water treatment capabilities as well as sewer treatment capabilities. Might involve expansion of the drought contingency reservoir up in Northeast Cherokee. And with all that, we have low taxes. This chart, the one on the right, well, your left, starting on the left, shows the total taxes per capita controlled by the Board of Commissioners collected from all of you, the citizens of Cherokee County. And on that measure, we're actually second lowest of the 11 counties in the metro Atlanta region. The only one lower is Fulton County, and Fulton, it's not really a fair comparison. You know, all of Fulton County is now in cities. It's fully municipalized. They don't provide, for instance, fire and police service. So when you take them out, Cherokee County has the lowest total tax burden on you of any of the 11 counties in the region. This middle group is expenditures per county. We're third lowest. Again, Fulton is one of those lower, and the only other one that's more comparable to us is Fayette County. I call them our sister on the south, another conservatively managed county that has a lot in common with us. Here on the right, you're seeing the total debt per capita. Our debt per capita is the second lowest in the 11-county region at about $139 per person. Each of you owes $139 on our behalf. Thank you for that. But if you look at our sister county to the west, 10 times. They have 10 times the debt per person that we have, and some of the others do. So that helps us keep taxes low going future. Just looking at property taxes, that most despised, most hated form of taxation. We're one of the lowest. We're the third lowest by this ranking at about 8 mills of total taxes controlled by the Board of Commissioners, just slightly higher than Forsyth and Fayette, our two sister counties, as I often call them. You'll also notice the bright blue bars. In 3 of these counties in the Atlanta metro region are the only 3 counties in the entire state that don't have a local option sales tax or a similar homestead option sales tax to directly drive down their property taxes. We know what it would do for our property taxes if we had one, and so adjusting for that, we would be, with a loss, like all the others have almost, we would be at about 5 mills instead of 8, and it would put us that much lower. You see how much lower we would be. Significantly lower. Another way of saying that is that when you combine local sales tax and local property taxes controlled by the Board of Commissioners, we are clearly the lowest in the region. In fact, we're 5th lowest in the entire state by that measure. But we have challenges, and I want to spend some time talking about those. The first one is managing our growth. And I'm going to go to meddling just a little bit in this, so you can brace yourselves for that. And I may go to meddling a little more when we get later. Start with just where we are. We are the 7th largest county in the state of Georgia, 6th largest in the metro Atlanta area. You can see the big 4, Cobb, DeKalb, Fulton, Gwinnett, and then there's the next tier. And in that next tier, we rank just above Forsyth and just below Clayton County in population at about roughly 295,000 people. 295,000 people. Most of us remember, old folks like me remember, numbers way, way lower than that. Growth trends would indicate that Forsyth will, in the next few years, overtake us and be a little bit bigger, but we'll probably overtake Clayton, so we will probably remain 6th largest county in the metro region, 7th largest in Georgia. So this is our population rate, growth rate history. So looking back to 1991, with one big dip, you can see that we averaged from 91 through about 2007 at about 5% growth rate. 5% growth rate, you double in 14 years. So we more than doubled our population during that period, 91 to 07, 08. Then, of course, came the housing recession of 08, 09. The bottom sort of fell out. But as it recovered, something else happened, and that is that slower growth forces had gained a consistent control over the Board of Commissioners, and we've been able to hold it to more like 2% since then. We're really running about 2.1% in recent years. So from 5%, now we're running about 2.1%. So this is the population growth curve looking forward. Now this blue line indicates our likely growth based on the numbers that are in our comprehensive plan. ARC has us growing a little more than this, but in the ballpark the same. So we project, our plan says we will grow to about 385,000 people. That's about 90,000 more than we have today over the next 20 years. That's a lot. Most of us would say, oh my goodness, 90,000 more people. What are we going to do with those people? Where are they going to drive? Where are they going to park? But I'll tell you this, it could be a lot worse. On the 2.1% growth rate we're on, we would grow to more than 500,000. So maybe 510. So that would be, instead of 90,000 more, it would be on top of the 90, another 120,000. So think of that. More than 200,000 additional people over that period versus maybe 90,000. Now here's the thing. The yellow line shows our growth rate that we'll need to have in order to hit that 385,000 mark. So look at it fall. We're starting at about 2.1%. To come out at 385 in 25 years, that growth rate has got to drop by 5% every year. And that's 5% of a declining amount. But 5% reduction, it'll actually have to shrink from 2.1. By the 25th year, it'll have to be under 0.5%, about 0.4%. Now look at that and think, do you think that's going to happen? And I actually wonder. I frankly, I doubt that without more control than we currently have, if left alone to its own devices, I'm afraid that's not going to happen. So I've got an idea. What if? What if? This is where I'm meddling a little bit. What if the cities and counties could agree on growth targets? So that 90,000 additional population over the next 25 years translates to about 35,000 homes. What if we set targets for new homes? And what if we could agree on how to divide those up? The growth would be weighted toward the cities. 57% of recent growth has been in the cities, as it should be. The cities is where the growth ought to be, just as Misti learned from the folks up at Nashville in that area. So that's where it should be. And then, obviously, we can't hit that mark every year. Nobody can hit that mark. You know, we're talking about homes. If somebody presents an application for a building permit that conforms to the zoning and other requirements, we have to issue it. You know, so we can't just say, "Oh, sorry, we've hit our number this year. You can't have a building permit." That's not something that's in our wheelhouse. It has to be done through the zoning process, and that's more of a future-looking and longer-term and harder-to-control process. And we'd have to average that over years and look at it cumulatively and adjust it periodically. But we could set some targets and try to stick to those targets. We could incorporate those goals into our land use plan so that they have some weight in zoning, and try to average that. One other thing to think about, I said 35,000 homes maybe over the next 25 years. That actually, the best information we have, the best analysis suggests that about 15,000 of those are not only already zoned, but are likely to be built from current zoning in the next 25 years. So that's 43% of the units that we say we can afford to have already zoned and likely to be built. So we may have to, if we're thinking of new zoning approvals, it might have to be significantly lower. So how would that look? We're building about 2,450 homes approximately over the last few years. So year one, we'd start out targeting that number. And then we'd split that up 57% to the cities, the remainder for the county. So about 1,400 homes that the cities would try to target to. The unincorporated would try to target for the rest of 1,000. 5% declining each year. By year 10, we might be at about 1,550 homes. Hypothetically, if we're on this curve. That would be about 900 in the cities and 650 if we don't have to adjust that split. By year 25, we'd be down to 700 homes being added. 400 in the cities, 300 in unincorporated. I don't know if this will work. I don't know if this is the best plan. But I know this, and see if you agree with me on this, that there's one thing we don't want to do, and that's that we don't want to plan for 385 and end up at 550. Can I get an amen on that? You know, I think we will agree on that. Let's talk about road infrastructure. We all feel that one, you know, and we see it every day. We have I should introduce him, Patrick Buchanan came to us from the ARC. Would you just wave and so everybody knows who you are? Okay. Patrick is our new chief road planner. And when he came in, he was the number 2 road planning guy for the ARC, so we're lucky to have him. He's a real professional in this field. I asked him to pull together some numbers that we've been wrestling with and trying to pin down for a long time. And it seems like it might be easy, but it's not. Patrick will tell you it's not. We went through several rounds of trying to pin this down. I asked the question, how much money do we really need every year to sustain our current road plan and goals? Just what's on the books now, the things we've said we're doing and want to do. And how much do we have coming in on average every year? That fluctuates up and down. It's a lot of different sources that come together. So what we found out was a somewhat disturbing number, worse than I thought. We need about $43.8 million a year. That's 27.5 of that is for the projects that are in our comprehensive transportation plan. That's a 20-year plan. It's got hundreds of projects in it to build this project, build this project, build this road, widen this road, improve this intersection, add this roundabout. So to sustain those projects, using today's dollars, $27.5 million per year. To get repaving, resurfacing the roads we already have on a 25-year cycle, assuming that road pavement lasts 25 years, which is about as long as it does last. That's another $9.1 million per year. In-house projects, sometimes done on account of an emergency basis, but done by our public works team. Sometimes they're bigger planned projects that they work in between their regular maintenance and emergency work. That takes about $6.2 million a year. These are projects usually not in the comprehensive transportation plan. And the engineering and contract management for all that takes another $1 million. So we need almost $44 million. So how much have we got? Not enough. $28.1 million. Now that's an average and it's an estimate, but the biggest source of that, $18 million, comes from SPLOST money. You pay a penny SPLOST tax when you buy something. About half that goes to road projects. So that produces about $18 million a year for us. From the ARC, we can average, this is federal money controlled through the Atlanta Regional Commission and grants that we apply for and receive. We think we can average about $4.7 million. LMIG is a state grant for paving. We get that every year. It runs about $2.4 million. Other grants of about $3 million, $28.1 million, $15.7 million short. So what do we do about that? We got to do something. The sources I see are these. One would be a host. I told you that we're one of only 3 counties in the state that doesn't have a lost or a host. They're similar, but a host allows some of the funds to go to capital projects. For us, that would be roads. Normally, it's per the state books, it's 20% can go to roads. We've actually asked the legislature to allow you to vote on this November. There's going to be a special election anyway this November. We've asked if we could put a host referendum on that ballot. And in it, we've asked if we can make it 25% for roads because that's one of our key needs. That would raise about $64 million a year. The 25% for roads would be about $16 million. We'd share some of that with the cities. The county might end up with about $12 million. That would close about 70% of the road funding gap. It's not 100%, but it goes a long way. 70% is so much better, 70% better than none. And it provides significant property tax relief. It's weighted, a host, one of the other things about a host is the property tax reduction is prioritized toward homeowners. So most homeowners would save more on their property taxes than they would pay in this additional 1% tax. It's actually a huge win-win. Another option that we've looked at and could still pursue would be a T-SPLOST. A T-SPLOST is a renewable, requires voter ongoing every so many years renewal. And that money only goes to roads or other transportation projects. So, it doesn't have to be a whole percent like a lost or a host. It can be increments of 0.1% up to a maximum of 1%. So that would be, if hypothetically we used a 0.5% T-SPLOST, that would generate $32 million a year. We'd share that with the cities, $24 million to the county. That would actually completely close the gap we have now and allow about $8 million more for additional projects, faster paving cycles, and things like that. So from a county leadership standpoint, I really like that. But it's a net additional tax, no property tax relief to offset it. I'm concerned that the conservative voters of Cherokee County are not going to support that. So we're leaning toward the host and to continue to look for other ways to close the remainder of the gap. Possibly in future years, we can dedicate a bigger portion of the SPLOST program to roads. And in fact, these two are not mutually exclusive. A future Board of Commissioners might decide that even if we have a host, to add a small, perhaps a 0.2% T-SPLOST, if that's what it ultimately takes. But we got to do something, right? Will you agree with me on that? We need to do something. Here, there's another amen moment there. All right, now we're going to meddling even further. Let's talk about the third issue that I see, and that's housing, and specifically affordable housing. It's a problem across the nation. It's a national crisis as the cost of housing has risen faster than overall inflation and faster than most people's incomes. It's aggravated. We inadvertently aggravate that in Cherokee County as a byproduct of our slower growth practices. You know, we say we want to build in less density, bigger lots. That means bigger houses, more expensive houses, and that tends to reduce the number of smaller and affordable houses we have here. So we actually have it a little worse than many other places. 40% of our residents are housing burdened in some degree. Some of it's severe, some is moderate. I'm going to show you a little more about that. But it's the key cause of homelessness. Let's face it, that's what causes homelessness. Somebody can't afford a place to live. It also prevents recovery from homelessness. If somebody's found themselves without a place to live, it's almost impossible to get back up on their feet and get over the hurdle to get into a home when there's just nothing affordable out there. And we're talking about good people. These are good people we need. We're not talking about drug-using bums. You know, we're talking about quality people that we need as parts of our community and just can't afford to live here. It's both an economic and political problem. You know, for one thing, there's a sort of a somewhat understandable desire for people who live in nice neighborhoods to have similar nice homes and neighborhoods around them. There's also a concern that if we add affordable housing, if we just add that to our housing mix, that's just pouring fuel on the growth fire that most people don't want to see. So we got to find a way to do that in a way that is politically acceptable from a where it's located standpoint, as well as how many homes it ends up being. So what could we do? Well, first of all, who are these people and what can they afford? Let's just talk about that for a minute. We've looked at some numbers, and in Cherokee County, we have average median household income of around $100,000. Pretty good, right? We're one of the more wealthy counties in the region and in the state. We have about 17% of that population that's living on household incomes of less than 35% of that, less than $35,000. There was a time you could live on $35,000, but it's very difficult today. A household living on that needs a housing budget of about $875. I mean, there's really nothing except subsidized apartments available for $875 a month. You might find a decent older apartment for that price. You might, but there's going to be a waiting list a mile long for it. That person cannot even think about owning a home. And who are these people? It might be retirees living on Social Security and not much else. Nursing assistant, lots of other hospital folks are in this category. Retail workers, entry-level manufacturing workers, and I say young workers. I'm talking about our children, who would like to get out of our house and start their families and their adult life, but they can't because there's just no place they can afford to live. About 13% more are in up to 60% of median household income. That means up to $60,000. That seems like, wow, that used to be a good salary. I remember when I earned $60,000, I thought I was rich. But today, that means that family needs to live on a housing budget of about $1,500. Well, $1,500 is about where a new one-bedroom apartment in Cherokee County starts today. Some of them are more than that. But you could probably find a one-bedroom apartment at that price. If you need more than one bedroom, though, you're probably not going to find it. And these are people like starting salaries, starting deputies and firefighters, typical nurse, and what I call a junior skilled worker, somebody who's a few years into a skilled trade or profession. 10% more are at under 80%. These are making $80,000 a year. This used to be executive salary. They need a housing budget of about $2,000. Now, you can find an apartment for $2,000. You're going to struggle to find a two-bedroom, but you might. You can certainly get a one-bedroom. You'd like to be a homeowner. These people need to be homeowners. They need to be hedging their whole lives against housing inflation and building wealth over their lives. But the home they can afford is about $306,000. There are no homes for sale in Cherokee County for $306,000. So, and these are people, this is an average teacher, mid-career deputy or firefighter, a senior skilled worker, somebody well into an established professional trade or career. We need to help those folks too. Now we get to 80%, over 80%, they can afford $2,500. They're in the game, but they're still looking at a home for $385,000. You can find one, but there aren't many. So what do we do? What if we took those numbers that I talked about before? We said we're going to grow by about this many houses each year. What if we said let's carve out, not add to, but carve out from that some percentages and say we would like to target a percentage of that new housing to be in these categories. And the categories I'm showing might not be quite the right ones, but they're representative anyway. Try to make 17%, that's the population, at subsidized apartments or otherwise something that's rentable for under $875. 13% unsubsidized but moderately priced apartments or other rental units that would start at $1,500 per month or less. And then about 10% entry-level owner-occupied housing, something in the low 300s. Let's find a way to get some homes on the ground that can be owned and lived in by families for the low 300s. Clearly, the mix would be different for each city and for the unincorporated, and we try to find the way to make it all balance out. The unincorporated would try to be the backstop when the cities say, I can do this, but I can't do this. We'd want to continue to underserve and certainly not overserve that demand. We don't want to be a mecca for people to move here just because we have affordable housing. And we got to put these things in the right place. But it's a problem that's got to be addressed. Maybe there's an amen out there for this. Maybe there's not. If there's a better solution, I'm open to it. But we need to find some way to have these people live here. I have some people say this to me. They say, well, we're not going to subsidize homes for people that can't afford it. If they can't afford to live here, just let them live someplace else and come here to work. And I respectfully disagree with that on at least two fronts. For one, it's the absolute worst commuting traffic scenario. You're saying most of the people who work here live somewhere else, and then we already know that most of the people who live here work somewhere else. It's a disaster for road management. But maybe more important than that, I don't really want to live in a big artificial gated community of upper middle class and above people only. I want to live in a real community with real people and all the real people that make up and are essential to that community. That's what real communities are. And that's what I want. I think that's what most of us want. Anyway, as I say, this is one that we're going to have to wrestle with. We've begun a process of doing that, but we've got to find a solution somewhere. So let's keep Cherokee thriving. Let's do it. Together, we can maintain the great services we've got, the low taxes, the great quality of life. And together, we can address our challenges in growth management, our road infrastructure, and our affordable housing. Because guess what? Together, we thrive. Thank you all for coming, and especially thank you all for caring about Cherokee County.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. What a great report, and I think everybody here is lucky to be a part of Cherokee County. What a great success the past years have been, and looking forward to many, many, many more great years. I want to thank Mary Elizabeth. Thank you for that fantastic report. Congratulations on a fantastic first year. And Misti, don't get misty on us, okay? But again, thank you for all you've done for Cherokee County. And we are going to miss you, Misti, but we know we will see you often. We'll come visit you downtown in those palatial economic development offices. And it is really great to think about you are entirely in charge of global commerce for the state of Georgia. So I think that is a big, big deal. So congratulations. This was a sellout crowd, guys. This is the biggest State of the County we have ever had, well over 400 people. And the weather didn't bother anybody, so y'all are very hearty souls, and we really appreciate you being here. Thank you to all of our sponsors. We really appreciate it. I hope to see all of you at State of MARTA. You got to come see those spiffy new train cars next week. There's something else. It's going to be a great day for MARTA. We'll be down at the Lindbergh station, so please join us there. Thank you again to our sponsors. And speaking of sponsors, this Cherokee Conference Center, you guys do a fantastic job. Let's give them a great round of applause. And if each of you will look on the back of your chairs on the leg, you'll find a little blue sticker. And those of you who have the blue stickers, you get to take those flowers home. So make sure, don't fall over doing that, but take a look, get your blue stickers. Thank you again for being here. Have a great rest of the day.